Spoiler alert, this video is being recorded Saturday night, November 9th. So not everything is going to be completely up to date. I am on vacation right now, so I needed to pre-record this. However, it does not change the validity, nor does it change the overall skill level of the player that we're talking about here today. We're talking about Montreal Canadiens prospect Cameron Hillis, who is a name that you might not have heard too much of over the past calendar year. That's because Hillis is a guy who didn't have the best draft plus 1 year. He was drafted in 2018, and his 2018-19 season wasn't great. Because he was injured a lot and because he wasn't playing all too often, he didn't have his name on the highlight reels, nor on all the really good reports of scouting performances. However, this year, Cameron Hillis is proving himself as probably one of the more underrated Montreal Canadiens prospects that they have in their system. So who exactly is Hillis? Let's go over it right here. Cameron Hillis is a Montreal draftee from the 2018 NHL Entry Draft in the 3rd round. He was drafted 66th overall out of the Guelph Storm in the OHL. His draft year was pretty gosh darn good. 59 points in 60 games played. He was a legitimate beast, and he was the second best rookie behind Andrei Svechnikov in the OHL in its entirety. His 59 points were made up by 39 assists and 20 goals, so that's a pretty solid draft year, especially for a guy who was born in the middle of 2000. He was born in June. On the 24th, he didn't turn 18 until after the entry draft concluded, so Cameron Hillis is a little bit on the younger side of things. Getting drafted, he was a pretty highly touted player, and a lot of people thought that he would have been a really great pickup at this spot. But his draft plus 1 year was riddled with injuries. He only played 33 games and he had 22 points, which isn't all too great. And in the playoffs for the Guelph Storm that actually won the championship, he only played 2 games in general. So Hillis was really slowed down throughout his draft plus 1 year, but in his draft plus 2 year this year as the captain of the Guelph Storm in 2019-20, he's already surpassed his 2018-19 point total. He's got 24 points in 16 games this year with the Guelph Storm. And a lot of that production has come really recently. Taking a look at his OntarioHockeyLeague.com game log, he had 3 points in the first 7 games of the season, which means that the rest of his points, 21 of those points, have come in the last 9 games of OHL play. 21 points in 9 games is over 2 points a game, and he's been having these multi-point games over and over and over again. In fact, just a few days ago against the Kitchener Rangers, he had 4 points, 2 goals and 2 assists. A week before that against the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, he had 3 points. Against the North Bay Battalion, a few days before that, he had 4 points as well. So Cameron Hillis has really found his groove, and he's coming back up to that player that everybody thought he could propel forward into becoming after his really impressive draft year. Cameron Hillis is not really too big, though. He's 5'11", 168 pounds, he's a center, he's a right-handed guy, but he's been a pretty solid OHL player, and it comes across in the way he plays the game. He's only 5'11", but he plays bigger than he is. He's not afraid to get in the dirty areas, he's not afraid to put in 110% every time he's out there on the ice, and his playmaking and overall offensive IQ is pretty high. He's got this weird ability to make these really safe passes that always usually end up into scoring chances. He's really good at setting his guys up, and when he doesn't have the puck, he's good at roving around the ice, trying to find the open space and looking for opportunities to involve himself in the offense. Cameron Hillis was the second best OHL rookie in his first year for a reason. The only player that was better than him was Andrei Svechnikov. So Cameron Hillis today is a player that, in my opinion, Habs fans need to be paying more attention to. We kind of took the gas off a little bit last year because he was injured and he wasn't playing all too often, and when he was playing, he wasn't getting the points like we thought he would. But he's back, baby. He's back, and he's doing his thing, and he's totally taking that next step. A lot of Habs fans that I've seen are saying that Hillis is taking those steps that Alan McShane needs to also take as well. And it's a close battle right now for the best OHL prospect in the Habs system, but you could definitely say that Hillis is the guy, and he's overtaking Alan McShane in that department, and honestly, he did it without a year of hockey, pretty much, so I think it's a pretty good resume that this guy has. But obviously, though, I shouldn't be talking about Hillis as if he's a guaranteed NHL player. Again, like Samuel Hood, I'd be really surprised if Cam Hillis found himself in a top 6 role in his prime, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was more of a top 9, maybe a bottom 6 kind of guy who could contribute on a power play once in a while, because his offensive IQ and his instincts are really strong. I see him in his prime probably as a 30-35 point NHL player, which isn't bad. That's totally awesome for a third-round guy. But, of course, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he's elite or whatever. He's not going to be a first-line player. But the fact that you can go out there in the 3rd round and get a player who, in my opinion, could be an NHL player one day, it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. Not everybody in the 3rd round, heck, not everybody in the 1st round becomes an NHL player. But Cameron Hillis is one of those guys that I can look at and I can say, yeah, I think he could be in this league one day. And that's awesome. It's really awesome to see what he's been doing. So, we're all going to be paying attention to Cam Hillis as the year goes on. Hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.